for Thursday, October 12th, the 285th day of 2023. There are 80 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 1039 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app, using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. And we will be visited by Aaron and Ashley Bell of the Grayson County High School Band Program, the Twin Lakes Marching Band Classic coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up today. Here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You're a person who is often on the lookout for a good find, a quirky find, an odd item that people might think, hey, I want one of those. Stouffer's is releasing its first ever advent calendar, and it's filled with frozen foods.
Wow.
So you would have all of the things like family-sized lasagna, chicken bacon ranch bowl, broccoli cheddar pasta bake, and it's available for $39.99 on their website. And so you just have your little advent, and you open it up, and you get your Stouffer's items out of there.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
I bet you never thought you would live to see that, but that's one of those odd, quirky things, isn't it?
It is.
I
Yes,
knew you think so. So
Thank you.
Stouffer's, I don't know, it's feeding all of us, I suppose. He is a 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sow nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Danville. He's Sam Gormley and the Sports. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. You do have a Cinder game?
Yes,
on
I'll be
Saturday?
in Danville on Saturday.
Okay, that's why I threw the Danville part in there. I sometimes don't remember all the cities that we used to say you covered.
Yeah.
Because we are no longer allowed to say Moscow. So that reset the entire list of cities, and now I can't really remember. Seemed like London and Beijing were in there. But
They were.
I
I don't know that there was. I think it was just whatever you were feeling that day, right?
Basically just trying to say you cover the globe. All the big cities and the small towns, too. I have, this was in show prep, and I thought of you because I feel like we've known you for a long time. Work with you in different ways, and really enjoy working with you, appreciate what you do. But on the idea of, are you a glass half empty or a glass half full guy, when I tried to figure out which you were, I couldn't figure out which you are.
Ooh.
Well,
because I could make an argument for both.
And see, that's the thing, is I'm both.
You are both?
It depends on the thing.
I think you are too. Yeah,
I've tried to
interesting.
become more half full,
Okay, all right.
but
I've never given
there
that
are
any
there are
consideration.
things that would bring out the half empty.
You typically when you communicate with someone over a long period of time, they just they paint a picture for whether they would be lean on the optimism side or the pessimism side. But I just noticed I had never really been able to get a break on what your starting position was on that area, which I guess means you might be perfectly in the center.
Yeah,
because if I don't catch you leaning one way or another, I
it
suppose
depends. Some things bring out more than others.
Are you pessimistic when it comes to sports?
It depends on
who it is.
Yes,
Bengals no, Reds yes.
Because I am want to be more of an optimistic with the Bengals, and right now it's nice to be an optimist about the Reds.
Yeah, there's a reason to be optimistic, so that's good. All right, well, thanks for clearing that up, because I was very curious. I don't know if Sam is an optimist or a pessimist. He's done a good job keeping that under wraps. So you're good.
Keep a lot of things under wraps.
Good for you.
Can't let you get too far inside the onion.
Agree with that.
You got to be in the middle. Hey, warm and sunny before we'll see a front move through our area tomorrow night. tomorrow night, it should be after Cougar football and should be out of here before Twin Lakes Marching Classic. So we'll get some rain probably in the overnight hours tomorrow, and we could see some winds, and we need the rain without a doubt. So and again, in looking at the hourly forecast, I don't necessarily think it's disruptive to football or marching band classic, but things change by the hour, and we'll continue to watch. But we'll feel like summer-like weather to end the week, and then we'll feel like fall weather to begin the next week, starting with Sunday when our highs go back into the 50s, but lows in the 40s for the next 3 or 4 days, but nothing in the 30s, and that's good, so likely no frost, anything like that. So if you're longing for it to feel like it did a week and a half ago, where it was still feeling like summer, you're going to love the next 2 days, so enjoy. We'll see a high of 81 today under sunny skies, 82 tomorrow, 60 for the overnight low.
It says it's going to be 70 degrees at kickoff tomorrow night, which is perfect. So come out and support the guys. They deserve your support. It's $5 to get in, and it's a huge game.
And like Bartles and James used to say, thanks for your support. So show it. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a draw or not, but I'm going to be at the football game,
which doesn't happen often.
So
I mean, it
doesn't happen often.
Are you going to be signing headshots?
I got my Glamour Shots reprinted the other day. You know, my Glamour Shots from like the 1994 or
Is it the one with your shoes on and the?
Yeah, it's absolutely the one. So.
And it's a good thing that Roger's staying in London, as he says, because the Cougars this year in games he's at 0-1, in games he's not at 6-0. Is it a coincidence?
Probably not.
I don't think it is.
All right, let's cover Israel a little bit. You know, there's a little more every day coming out about Israel, and by the time the news cycle turns over again in 24 hours, there's considerable new information. I really believe, I think it's obvious now that Israel is looking to invade. They're looking to send soldiers into the Gaza Strip, into Palestine. And Benjamin Netanyahu formed a unity government with his opponent yesterday, because now is the time for them to be unified and go after the terrorists that struck their country. And he said things like, every Hamas member is a dead man. They vowed to crush and destroy Hamas. So they've got troops that are amassing on the border. Now they're still worried about Hezbollah off to the north. As we tell you, there's context between all of these things. There's an Iranian component. There's eventually a Russian component. You can probably follow the line all the way back to China and America and NATO, and so the people are just kind of lining up, picking sides. One of the things people are trying to be critical of, and it has to be connected, even if it's not directly connected. That's 2 weeks ago, the United States unfreezes $6 billion in Iranian money. And then 2 weeks later, there is a Hamas attack that's probably propped up by Iran. And so now Senator McConnell and Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas are going to introduce legislation. We'll look for consent to refreeze that $6 billion to Iran. It's also concerning if America has to get further into this conflict. We've got multiple points on the globe now where we're having to play defense at a time that I'm not sure that our country is really prepared to do it for multiple reasons. So that's why it continues to be of concern. Also, it's the worst possible time for the House to not be in session and not doing the people's business. They are working to get back to that. The Republicans nominated Steve Scalise to be the next House Speaker. Now they will try to unite their deeply divided majority and elect a conservative to the House floor. I think Steve Scalise is well liked. In my mind, I'll always remember him as being, he was nearly killed in the congressional baseball practice a few years ago and nearly lost his life and really had to fight hard to get back. I've seen him in the halls of Congress, and he always stands out to me as like, wow. And I think he's well liked among his peers. So maybe he won't be so divisive as the Kevin McCarthy's of the world. A Litchfield man has been arrested on rape and unlawful transaction with a minor charges. 25-year-old Alexander Madison was arrested and charged with second-degree rape, and that's mentally incapacitated by an intoxicating substance, and second-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. Second-degree rape is a Class C felony, and second-degree unlawful transaction with a minor is a Class D felony. The United Auto Workers surprised Ford yesterday afternoon or yet last evening about 6:30. 8,700 workers walked out at the Ford Kentucky truck plant yesterday. And, the UAW had been at least saying, hey, get ready, we're going to ratchet this up when we don't get what we want. So they went around and they said, here's where we're going to strike, and we're going to soft strike this and let you know that it's coming. But if we're not productive in the talks to our liking, then we'll turn up the heat and ratchet this up. And that's kind of what this does. It is it's Ford's largest facility, and 8,700 workers. Now, 8,700 Kentuckians, not 100% of them are Kentuckians. Of course, there's, Southern Indiana people, but their F-Series pickup trucks, their large Fords and Lincoln SUVs are all manufactured there. So now Kentucky has been drawn into the UAW strike.
Be curious to see if GM and Bowling Green, how far behind they could potentially be.
Yeah, makes you wonder.
Especially for high-end cars. That one, that's one that they make a lot of money on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think that their margins are really high on that, so it would be in their best interest. But we'll see. They had been strategic and kind of called their shots, and now I don't know what it takes to make a wildcat strike. I know that's a term, but I don't know all of the details that have to be present for it to be considered a wildcat strike. But this one was certainly maybe not completely unexpected, but they hadn't said, guess what we're going to do come 6:30 on Wednesday. A wrong-way driver collided with a truck on the Bluegrass Parkway, killing a Bullitt County man. State police responded to the accident near the 25-mile marker of the Bluegrass Parkway Tuesday night at about 10 minutes after 9. The state police preliminary investigation says a 2019 Ford Fusion being driven by 71-year-old Raymond Mills of Mount Washington was traveling west in the eastbound lanes when the Ford struck a 2022 Dodge Ram 3500 truck head-on. The Dodge was being driven by a Zachary Doster of Winchester. Mills was pronounced deceased at the scene by the Nelson County Coroner's Office. A 29-year-old passenger in the Dodge was transported to UK Chandler Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries, and no information on Doster's condition was released. I will, for the rest of my life, when I hear of a wrong-way collision, I will think of Larry Mahoney.
Carrollton?
Yes, I will. That left such an indelible mark on Kentuckians. And at my age, it was at a time where I'm sure they had happened before. I'm sure there were newsworthy wrong way head-on collisions. But that one was so dramatic because it impacted not just Kentuckians, but people just right up the road, in Radcliffe. And so, but I am amazed at how these happen. I understand people who are who are intoxicated and out driving. I understand that a little bit more, but these happen more frequently than they should. And we have the transportation cabinet and the federal highway people have gone to great lengths. The reflectors shine in the opposite way. Like if you're going in the wrong lane, all the reflectors that if you're in the right lane are white, they're red the other way. You have signage, so the fact that a person can it makes me scratch my head on how this still happens and how people lose their lives in collisions like this that seemingly should be avoided. You would expect after Larry Mahoney, you would expect there to be less of them over time. Mm-hmm. And it seems to me in the recent years, we've seen an increase in them. So I don't know. Kentucky students have improved their ACT scores slightly. While the nationwide average of high school student scores on the ACT college admissions test have dropped to their lowest level in more than 3 decades, Kentucky students have bucked that trend as scores released yesterday showed a slight improvement over last year. The average composite score on the ACT fell to 19.5 for the class of 2023, which is a decline of 0.3 from 2022. This is the 6th consecutive year of declines in average scores, but Kentucky's number is actually going up. Their score was a composite of 18.7, which is an improvement from 18.6. But one thing to take note of 8 states that test 100% of their graduates, Kentucky's one of those states, everyone takes the ACT. Mm-hmm. Of the 8 that do, Kentucky is only second behind Wyoming. And Wyoming has 87% fewer students than Kentucky does. So of the group that forces requires everyone to take it, Kentucky is doing,
Yeah, it feels
near the
forced.
top of the list.
Like I know I've said on this show before, if I ever became president, one of my day one moves would be to abolish the ACT. Send it to the moon. Same thing with the SAT.
54 Kentucky seniors, or 54 Kentucky students got a perfect 36.
Listen, I
That's
love
impressive.
to hear that. Yeah, that's impressive.
When I took the ACT, they printed it on papyrus. So
Did you only have the opportunity to get 20 points back then?
Yes, they didn't count all the way to 36 when I took
They
it.
hadn't invented that far of numbers, right?
It was so long ago I couldn't tell you what I scored on my ACT.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it was so insignificant that I said, no reason to remember that number. So, as expected, Mark Stoops did clarify his pony up remark regarding donations for NIL. At least he kind of clarified it a little bit. He said that, he really appreciated the fans and loves his job, loves Kentucky, loves the fan base, loves everybody. He just said, I just want to encourage them to donate more because that's what those dudes are doing. I can promise you, Georgia, they bought some pretty good players. You're allowed to these days, which then sounded like, could that be a shot across the bow of Georgia? And Kirby Smart said, no. He said, Mark and I have talked about NIL. We talked about it before the game on the field. We've talked about it several times. So he didn't take the bait on reporters' questions. So everything's square between Kirby Smart and Mark Stoops, apparently. Jeff Brom has been awarded the mid-season ACC honoree from the coaching ranks. Not surprised. He's done a very good job with the Louisville team. They got a big statement win over Notre Dame last weekend, but he also did say you got to keep backing it up every week because if you take a step back, then you weren't as good as you thought you were, so congratulations to him. And then pro day for UK basketball was yesterday. Onyenso and Bradshaw sat out pro day, expected to miss 5 to 6 weeks, but perhaps in the biggest news in Kentucky basketball yesterday, the Cats are back on top for all-time wins because Kansas had to abandon 31 victories from the 2017-2018 season, had to take down their 2018 Final Four banner. No postseason ban. Their self-imposed penalties are okay. Do we, like fans, do we still consider in our minds that Kansas has won more games than us? Or are we gonna?
It's kind of one of those things that I don't particularly care that much about.
Yeah.
Like, titles are what matters the most. And, UCLA's still winning with that. Kentucky's in second.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought you were going to say the biggest news is that Zvonimir Ivisic is going to be here today.
Oh, well, no, it's yeah, I mean,
I appreciated Drew Franklin's post on KSR saying that they should, at Big Blue Madness, have him land at the beginning of Big Blue Madness and have like a live stream of waiting on the runway for him. Mm-hmm. And like an Uber pulls up and he
Mission
can run
Impossible
in.
or something like that, or like from the opening of a James Bond movie or something would be cool. We got to get to a break. We come back. Aaron and Ashley Bell are here. We're going to talk Twin Lakes Marching Classic coming up here on In the Know.
What do you call someone who puts your family's interests ahead of their own? Someone who takes time to listen without rushing you or passing judgment. Someone you can count on to help guide you through one of life's most difficult times. At Watkins Funeral Home, we call someone like that a
Why are Holiday World's Happy Halloween weekends so popular? Let's find out. You, with a square head, what brings you here?
Roller coasters!
And you, ma'am?
The trick-or-treating, live shows, and corn maze are enchanting.
How about you, with the cape?
On Saturdays, 400 drones fill the night sky.
Happy Halloween weekends! Get tickets at holidayworld.com.
Free soft drinks!
Free parking!
Free sunscreen! Thank you.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, We wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Now you can enjoy your McDonald's breakfast faves with a savory steak patty. Start your morning off right with a steak, egg, and cheese bagel, steak, egg, and cheese McMuffin, steak, egg, and cheese biscuit, or other breakfast faves. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's.
Core-Mark Kentucky has immediate job openings for night warehouse shifts. If you're highly motivated, seeking a family-friendly environment, Core-Mark Kentucky has full, part, and temporary time positions available with competitive wages, incentives, benefits, vacation, and a fun work atmosphere. Core-Mark Kentucky offers you a 4-day work week. That's 3 days off a week. Call a recruiter now at 270-259-9341 or apply online at careers.coremark.com. Core-Mark is an equal opportunity employer.
They've been waiting. They've been watching. But now, their time has come. Their slumber is over. And the souls are awake. Come live the nightmare at Louisville's most award-winning haunted attraction, the Devil's Attic. For more info, visit thedevilsattic.com.
A San Francisco judge has signed off on a massive Facebook privacy settlement. The social media giant agreed to pay $725 million to settle claims that have violated users' privacy. This week, a judge overruled objections to the settlement and gave it his final approval. Israeli and Jewish schools are urging parents to tell their kids to delete their social media accounts. They worry that Hamas will use Instagram, X, and TikTok, among others, to post disturbing images. Hamas reportedly plans to release disturbing video footage of Israelis being taken hostage and then begging for their lives. Hackers were offering massive amounts of 23andMe data for sale 2 months ago. This comes just days after the consumer DNA testing company played down the severity of the recent data breach. The hackers advertised that they had 300 terabytes of data for sale. And a federal judge has thrown out a $32.5 million patent verdict against Google. The original ruling favored music hardware and software company Sonos, which claimed Google had infringed on its patents. Tech Report, Mark Mayfield.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. On we send on without end their joyful tone to everyone. Ha, ha, ha. Ding, dong, ding.
Today is Farmer's Day. It is also Gumbo Day. It's Pulled Pork Day. I'm also going to designate it as Pork Chop Sandwich Day. Every day is a good day for pork chop sandwich. It's also the day we say good morning and welcome back to Aaron and Ashley Bell from Grayson County Band Programs. Morning, people. Good to see
morning.
you all. Pretty light, easy week for you all. Just kind of taking half the week off and, working on projects around the house and things like that.
Absolutely.
Listen, I feel like I'm an integral part of a well-oiled machine that happens with Cougar Bands because I have the pleasure of serving as your MC for the show this weekend. But I will tell you that if my job description is changing and I'm required to provide valve oil, I'm going to need that to be redefined because I was ill-prepared yesterday when I got asked if I had any valve oil.
And I obviously was ill-prepared when I sent the text message, so my apologies.
It happens, doesn't it? I had no illusions that I was the only Mark in your life.
I apparently know way too many Marks is the problem.
I shared with you, though, I communicate with Samara Hevron and Samuel Gormley, and oftentimes their messages get crossed as well. So happens to the best of us. You all are... I was thinking about you all sitting on the couch, waiting for your segment, and I thought this may be the only peace and quiet that you have of the entire week. So hopefully you were able to enjoy it. But I started thinking about your roles. I obviously am no stranger to working with my spouse closely, daily, and those lines kind of blur. Like work stuff becomes home stuff, and home stuff becomes work stuff, and it's just a lifestyle. But between being teachers, instructors, I also think you're coaches. You're coaches of the biggest team at Grayson County High School. You're small business operators. You're, you got to fundraise. You got to do all those things. But this is a lifestyle that you all have chosen. It's not a profession because all of the lines are really blurred, aren't they?
They really are, and parent is thrown in there too because. That adds a whole extra layer.
That's
that's coming up.
Yeah,
okay.
that's coming up.
But that's true. I tell people that often, actually, the small business part especially, like just doing the bus items, and getting transportation, and then you're running a booster organization and you're answering all those questions. And we say it's like running, it is like a small business.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rings in the fire for sure.
If you've never been involved in a band program, we are not overstating it when we say band becomes family. It is you will always remember the people that you went to camp with, that you went to trips with, you spent late nights buses home. It cannot be avoided. It becomes familial, and it also runs through generations. It runs through decades. Someone that I might not have been in the band with, though, if I know they were in the Cougar Band, I immediately have a kinship with them, so they become a family member of mine. But you all specifically now have an actual family member in the band, and I have noticed, at least you, Ashley, seem to be struggling with that a little bit. Like, how did this happen so quickly?
It's kind of wild, I'm not going to lie, but she is absolutely loving it and killing it. She's doing incredible, so we're a little proud.
Aaron, how do you feel about how do you feel about Addison being in the band?
Well, I mean, I love it because she was there most of the time anyway, so she may as well be doing something while she's there. So, right. And I think she really enjoys it too.
Well, I guess my entire preamble was talking about how this is a lifestyle. When you choose to be an instructor, a musician, it's got an element of show business to it. We got to put on a show. She's raised in that ecosystem, so I think everyone would be shocked if she chose, not to participate. It's just kind of the family business, so we shouldn't be surprised. But she just looks so grown up and so happy in the photographs that I've seen of her. So I know you all are thrilled about her and her future. Mm-hmm. But all of the kids, because I know you look at all of these young people as people that are important to you. This one just happens to be yours.
That's right.
So
absolutely.
Let's talk about, by the way, when you have family, you enjoy successes, but you also have losses. And I know that it was the tragic loss of Mr. Chad Pence, and I know that's created a big hole for you, but you're all still dealing with that, and that was a real tragedy.
It absolutely was very unexpected, and Chad was super special to all of us. And I wish we had more time with Chad. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we just didn't have him anywhere near long enough. But we've gotten to know so many other people, even across the country. Because we got to spend some time with Chad and to know Chad. So he was definitely special. I
mentioned you have this kinship when you immediately find out, oh, you were in the Cougar Band. So was I, even though we were there. The first time I ever met him was at the show last year, and he and I worked side by side because he was doing timing, but I immediately liked him. I immediately felt a kinship with him. And so it was additionally, just awful for me to hear about his loss. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to mention him. I've been paying attention to your show, Luna Rosa. I presume Red Moon is what we're going for. And in my day, the show that you put in the beginning for your first show was the show. Like no modifications, no. But up until last week, you all are still installing drill?
Yes.
And we're still not finished.
We're still not finished.
You're not finished.
We have all of it on the field. We're not performing all of it this weekend. We still need a little more time, so we're close.
I love the I love the stage, the props, love everything that you all are doing in that regard. It's very impactful. It has the timing of it is excellent. I love the arc of the show musically. I think it arcs perfectly. It's got a big build to it to the end, just like you want a good show to do. Aaron, what was the inspiration for Luna Rosa? How did it come about?
Well, it's we're starting the show bright and with all white and silver and glimmer, and by the end of the show, we're going to end all red, and that's what the public really hasn't seen all of yet, but hopefully we'll get there this weekend. And so musically, that's also following the same storyline, basically starting kind of happy and joyful, and then the closer is going to be a lot more intense and a lot more, I guess, evil. We reference the Evil Moon Waltz a lot in rehearsal, and so I think that visually and musically, it really tells a good story.
Yeah, it is well worth the experience, and it it also measures up, when you compare it, because you've got to do bands that are in your class. You got to look at what type of show they're doing, what type of production, and you have to keep pace. And so I think it holds up very well. You're going to be able to perform it in exhibition on Saturday night at the end of the day, which I think in ways feels like a victory lap because the pressure is off. But it comes at the end of a very long day, at the end of a very long week that you've had rehearsal and preparation. So do you gain anything from the performance on Saturday? Is it more just a stress relief?
It's not a typical performance for us because on a typical Saturday, we'll when we're competing, we'll rehearse. We'll, the kids are in performance competition mode, but when we're hosting groups, they're certainly not in that kind of mindset throughout the day. And reining them in is sometimes tougher. And they work all day long, and they see to others' needs all day long, and so their performance is kind of just secondary to a lot of things at that point. But when we take the field on Saturday night, we'll try to give the seniors one last hurrah.
Yeah. Is this a good opportunity for your band, but also your boosters to have a more acute awareness of the hard work that's going on when you all travel to other places, but when they know that what it takes to invest in our home show?
Absolutely. It takes, we call it our village, and it's super strong, but it really does take all of us to work together. And when you have 20 bands coming to your campus, the reason why we say all the time they keep coming back because of the hospitality.
That's 100%.
You know, it's not necessarily the venue or anything like that, but the hospitality is amazing, and our band parents go out of their way to make sure that everybody has a great experience.
20 bands, that was on my notes. When you just look at that number alone, it's a nice round number. You see, well, they would not come back if they did not feel welcome, if they didn't feel it was worth their time, if they didn't feel rewarded by coming. And every field that you perform on are the same dimensions. Most of them are green and white, some of them are blue and white. We've seen that recently, but in general. And it's the same show at the same place. But it's the stuff around the show that makes the difference, whether it's the hospitality room, it's the way that they're greeted when they arrive, it's their hosts and hostesses that make all the difference. And I also, if you've not been to the show recently, over the last few years since it's been reincarnated and building, when I think of the way that the band community treats people that come and participate from all the various schools, in ways, I think that the spirit of Mr. McGee is at the top of that in the way that he cares for young people no matter where they go to school. He loves his more than everyone else's, but he loves all of them. And there's a trickle-down spirit to that of hospitality that I think has established a root system that people just rally around this event and really show out to put forth our best. Is that a spirit you all feel?
I agree. Absolutely. And we give, of course, the Spirit Award is in his name and in his honor, and he will hopefully feel well enough to be there and present that. But the kids that come back year after year always want to know if Mr. McGee's going to be there. They're looking for him. Of course, it's close to his birthday, so we always try to make that special. I think it does definitely have a special place.
So it's going to be a longer day. It's kind of split into two halves. Your first two classes are sort of front-loaded. More bands in your early classes, and then I guess you got two divisions, so it almost kind of split into three different groups, but then a break. But senior recognition is at what time?
1:30.
1:30?
I think, and then 1:30, and then the Star Spangled Banner at 1:45, and the first band takes the field at 2.
And you got a lot of you got a good cross representation. Maybe not huge bands later in the class, but you at least have one. It looks like you got a pretty competitive 3A class on the day. So
and I think 6 4A bands, right? 6
I think
in
that's
class
5
4A or 5. And they're all incredibly good bands. It'll be exciting.
And also explain, the show is obviously good because it's well oiled. It's it's successful. But what does it do for the band program? The gate that comes through. Is it a financial help to the band program?
Absolutely. It's I think our biggest fundraiser, one day fundraiser. Of course, we make some money on the fair, but that's over the course of a week. But it's probably our biggest fundraiser on the year. So it does provide a lot of opportunities for our kiddos that they otherwise wouldn't have.
So the cost to get in the gate is, I never remember. I never
It's
know.
$10.
Because I usually sneak in. So
Uh-huh.
$10.
5 and under is free.
All right, very good. And for that much entertainment over that period of time for $10, it's an absolute bargain. Of course, the concession stand is open. You will not be able to turn down the pork chop sandwich, all that good stuff. So
Exactly.
What did I not cover about Saturday other than, do you still need this time yesterday, you still needed maybe some hosts or hostesses to help with bands for some alumni. Do you still need help?
If there's any alumni out there that are going to be home this weekend and would love to help, we could absolutely use your help. Yes.
And you have a bunch of alumni.
We have a fantastic alumni. Yes.
Scattered around. Also, you had a at the Warren East show. Did Donovan win a scholarship?
Donovan won a scholarship from Campbellsville University. Yes.
Congratulations! I saw their exhibition performance, and it's always very good too.
It was
I know when
fun.
they were here a few years ago. I am blessed that you all come in a couple times a year. You know, seasonally, get to check in with you. This is the probably one time a year though that I have the most leverage, because you all need me to show up on Saturday, correct?
We do.
So this is the time of year that I put my asks in. My request to have a bagpipe section has fallen on deaf ears apparently, so I'm going to abandon that one. I'm going to say okay.
But I thought you were going to lead that,
Well,
so I think that's on you.
I will if one is created. Okay.
Okay.
Also, I've noticed that I've not heard The Devil Went Down to Georgia and Pet Band. So I'm going to presume that's a non-starter, and you all are balking at that one.
That's kind of tough. That's a tough one. That would be hard to play.
But it was so good. Fire on the Mountain, Run Boys Run. I mean, think about that
Yes.
horn line.
Yeah.
So I've come up with a peace offering, an in between. What about Adele's Rolling in the Deep?
That one's doable.
Ba, ba, ba-da-dum, ba.
I'll put it in the notes right now.
We're going to look it up on JW Pepper when we get back to school today.
the woodwinds can do the backup sing, so I'm playing it, but you all can't hear it. So I'm making a case that it would score well with the band, it would score well with the parents, the student body, but in particular, it would score well with me.
Hey, we'll try it.
That'd be all right?
We'll see what we can do.
So give that some thought. And then lastly, will you entertain the idea of renaming the trombone section the sack butt section? Because that was the original name. That was the original name of the trombone, and I think true to the invention. So, Aaron, will you pledge to me that you'll call trombone sack butts from here forward?
I don't know that I can make that pledge. Let's ask our kids first.
You know what it's like to teach high school?
Yeah, exactly.
When I taught arts and humanities and have to teach that section, yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up.
Our community is blessed to have you all. Thank you for everything you do, and good luck on Saturday. We'll
We
see you there.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Aaron and Ashley Bell from Grayson County Band Program. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. More on the way here on In the Know.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter
Worth it? If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
Kentucky is a special place. I see it everywhere I go. I'm Andy Bashir. We've been through a lot these past 4 years, but Kentuckians are the hardest working, most resilient people I know. We've faced down impossible challenges, and we've come out stronger on the other side. I will always show up for Kentucky families because we look out for each other. We're rebuilding homes and whole new neighborhoods from natural disasters because we have a responsibility to our fellow Kentuckian. We're growing our economy at a record pace, creating thousands of new, good-paying jobs. Unemployment has never been lower. And we've cut the income tax by 10% in a fiscally responsible way. There's still work to do. That's why my education plan includes well-deserved and necessary raises for our public school teachers. We've turned the corner, and we're moving forward. Let's keep it going. I'm Andy Bashir, and I approve this message. Paid for by Andy Bashir for governor.
Core-Mark Kentucky has immediate job openings for night warehouse shifts. If you're highly motivated, seeking a family-friendly environment, Core-Mark Kentucky has full, part, and temporary time positions available with competitive wages, incentives, benefits, vacation, and a fun work atmosphere. Core-Mark Kentucky offers you a 4-day work week. That's 3 days off a week. Call a recruiter now at 270-259-9341 or apply online at careers.coremark.com. Core-Mark is an equal opportunity employer.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. Absolutely gorgeous setup here on this Thursday. A lot of sunshine. Temperatures way off the mark there as far as highs today. Right around 81 degrees here in the city. Most of us, though, will easily fall into the upper 70s. We'll take it. Tonight, relatively mild night into the upper 50s to around 60. And then as we head into your Friday the 13th, increasing clouds later in the day. It's still warm. High temperature in the lower 80s. The Wave Storm Tracking Team. I'm Brian Good.
But now I might be mistaken.
Today's Did You Know is brought to you by ECTC's Litchfield campus, college for the real world. Right here at home, it's easy, it's affordable, and you'll be surprised how much curriculum is available, and you don't even have to leave town. They have a new 8-week advantage session starting next week, so you might be a little behind the 8 ball on onboarding for next week, but now's a good time while you're thinking about it to get back on the right track. College for the real world, ECTC's Litchfield campus, where they say, did you know cats can't taste sweet flavors? Cats' taste bud profiles do not allow them to taste sweet flavors.
Did they ask them or something?
I
Yes, they
wouldn't
did.
want that all of the time, but right now I could use not being able to taste sweet.
Because you think it would be a deterrent?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would help.
I hear we're getting peanut butter, so, you know.
Yeah, but it's more of a weapon than it is. But I understand you can't stay out of it.
Yeah.
Also, we came home to finding out that Miss Susan Dyer had sent a Holt House cake.
Did you look in there this morning?
No.
Oh.
There's a lot missing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hard to turn down as well. Like, leave it. Alea freaked out when she found out that my first grade teacher sent me a cake in the mail.
Mhm. Yeah.
She couldn't. For one, she doesn't think you can send cakes in the mail. So that was a marvel. But then that I left such an impression that so she started thinking, will I get cakes from my first grade teacher? You might very well. I don't know. So anyway, I read the headline this morning. I like Margot Robbie. Okay, everybody knows I like Margot Robbie. I like most of the stuff that she's been in. Not seen the Barbie movie. I don't know. But I have learned that she and Ryan Gosling are also going to be they will be reunited for a new incarnation of Ocean's 11.
That's going after you, right?
Making me a little nervous. Now, the Ocean's 11 that I love is not the original Ocean's 11. So
this isn't even a remake.
That's right. It would be the third. It's kind of like A Star Is Born. They've done that 3 different times. So Ocean's 11, but it is so iconic in its story and its makeup. So maybe those of you that don't know, Ocean's 11 plays a pivotal role in our engagement story.
It does.
And so, in fact, the entire premise of it was based upon the closing scene of Ocean's 11. Because it was in the front of the Fountains of Bellagio. Claire de Lune was playing, etc. And so Right? I made
Yes.
reference to it.
Yes.
Because the looks on their faces when they pan across the entire cast of Ocean's 11,
Yeah.
you can just tell they've got their whole lives in front of them because they are filthy rich.
Yes.
Anything they want to do is on the table from that point forward. So the optimism involved. Now, I don't know when they do that classic pan again, and it's Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling and
maybe you,
whoever. I mean, when it's not Matt Damon and when it's not George Clooney and not Don Cheadle, and I don't know how I'm going to feel
Brad
about
Pitt.
that. Brad Pitt is in there, so
ma.
Julia Roberts isn't in that scene, but
her essence is.
that's right. So I don't know how I feel about this. It makes me a little bit nervous. You would expect the new Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie to be out today, but it does not come out until 6 o'clock tomorrow, but it is expected to do way over $100 million this weekend. They're expected at least $125 million. New movies now are coming out Thursdays, but this doesn't come out until tomorrow at 6 p.m. So don't go anywhere near a movie theater or you get run over by Swifties this weekend.
It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. About as much as they stole in Ocean's 11. Jada Pinkett Smith says she and Will have been separated for 7 years. So all of that drama over the Oscars, the slap, the keep my wife's name out your mouth, all that other stuff. And they have been living separate lives for 7 years.
I mean, they aren't actors.
That's true. I mean, I get it, but I guess I just don't understand what was all the big hubbub with Chris Rock? What was your big, she's already clearly out carousing with someone else. So
But they were clearly keeping up that facade. So I guess he felt like he had to.
they were keeping up the facade until she decided to write a book.
There we go.
In her new memoir,
there
clears
you
up
go.
a whole lot of what's going on. But does she need the money? I would presume that she's.
You going to read the memoir?
Presume she's okay? Absolutely not. That's. I can't tell you it would be the last thing on earth I would read, but
You gotta
close.
Pretty close.
Got to get your reading glasses and read the Oppenheimer book first, right?
Yeah, I still haven't broken down. I just got to go out and buy some Coke bottles first. Cher denies the allegations that she plotted to kidnap her son. She said that rumor is not true. Well, that clears it all up.
How old is her son?
Well, he's
Of kidnapping age, I suppose.
He's 50, 40 something. It's her and Greg Allman's son, but he has some type of issues.
Oh,
so they
okay.
were trying to.
I didn't realize. Sorry.
Like substance abuse.
Yes, instead of conservatorship, instead of going the conservatorship route, the thought was that she had just captured him and then rolled him into treatment, and that the word kidnapping was used, and that doesn't seem like maybe that was the case. And then Pete Davidson, there's a new SNL promo out. We haven't seen one of those in a while. Pete Davidson is the host. He'll be hosting this Saturday night, and he does his best Kenan Thompson impression in the hosting promo. So I'm going to spend, that'll be about right. I'll get home from the marching band classic about 10:30 or so on Saturday, and it's going to sit down, and I'm going to watch the new SNL. So I guess my weekend is complete, and then I got to get up early Sunday and go to church.
Busy weekend for you.
I got to go to the football game tomorrow night, and I got to work on my cheer skills. Rah rah, sis kumbah.
Have you learned the fight song yet?
Learn the fight song.
Can you play it?
Learn.
Can you play it from memory?
100% can still play the fight song, without a doubt.
I think we need to get you a saxophone.
Have a saxophone. Got to get to the break. Come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Conflict happens in every marriage, and sometimes the best solution is just to ease the tension with laughter. In his book, Ragman and Other Cries of Faith, Walter Wongren describes the difference laughter could have made in his marriage. He and his wife lived in a small apartment when they were first married. When they had disagreements, he would often storm out of the front door and go for a walk until he cooled down a bit. On one occasion, he grabbed his coat and stormed out the door like always, slamming it behind him. It was pouring rain outside. As he tried to walk away, he realized he'd shut his coat in the door. For a couple of minutes, he stood there getting soaked and thinking of what he should do. and there were only two options. He could slip off his coat and walk in the rain without it, or he could ring the bell and wait for his wife to open the door, facing certain embarrassment. Walter chose to ring the bell. The door immediately opened, and his wife stood there, laughing uncontrollably. She knew Walter was stuck in the door, but she had waited to see what he would do. Reflecting back on that moment, Walter writes, I could simply have laughed with her, and humor would have provided the bridge to our reconciliation. But I refused. I gathered up my coat, and I walked off into the rainy evening, a prisoner of my own refusal to laugh. So remember, laughter is good medicine for a hurting marriage. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-273-7075. 800-273-7075. 800-273-7075. That's 800-273-7075.
MD's point to ponder for today. First, Sam, was that a shrewd negotiation that I made with the bells?
Well, I mean, you do have cards to play.
That's true. This is my time, right? This is if I got cards to play, it's this week that I got to play them.
One year, they might just throw the whole, well, we've already got this guy that's been waiting in the wings to do the PA, and then
they're like anybody else that's got a short list. You know, if this person falls through, here's where we're going. But that's the delicacy. That's the ballet of the.
Maybe they got to hear some of your show with Alea, and they're going to say maybe they'll hire Alea over you.
Maybe that they hand you a small size shirt and say, "Here you go."
Yeah, this is our negotiation.
Yes.
I guess I just have to have a.
They could limit your pork chops.
Have a coconut smile and shut up. They could, except there are different runners, so they would really have to work really hard, because I could just go from runner to runner, and the first runner wouldn't know I'd already had a pork chop sandwich.
Why do you tell everything? See?
That's true.
You did
You just did it. I mean,
you did just
stop
give away.
it.
It's because
What is
I was-
happening?
because
Luckily,
I
was
want
asked.
one of these sandwiches. What is wrong with you? don't tell the secret.
If you come with me to the show, you'll get all the pork sandwiches, pork chop sandwiches you like.
See, it's a good thing that they don't sell them at Friday Night Football because that's the last thing I'd need to eat during
Is it bad?
Yeah,
Really?
no, it's what I'd want, but it's not what I need during a broadcast.
But I thought it was wise on my part to just go ahead and concede. Apparently, the bagpipes thing was not happening. The Devil Went Down to Georgia thing was not happening. But did you tell how I set the hook on Rolling in the Deep? Like, Aaron got his phone out and started making a note. So he's either acting really well, like doing okay. Well, I'm gonna, I'm pretending to write this down. But it looked like maybe
when
it's a
he
possibility.
mentioned the website, that reminded me that's what it was called. So I'm going to look up and see if they have a Devil Went Down to Georgia on there for you.
Okay.
Because we
Well,
could just.
I'm not a big fan of the devil. So, I mean, I wouldn't be selling real hard on that. But I came up with an alternative that I feel like was a reasonable request. So, glad to hear that maybe they liked it. Sam, you were not here yesterday to do the 8th deadly sin. But in a similar vein, I'm going to allow you all to pick which of these is your biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
So it could also be an eighth deadly sin, but I bet Sam doesn't really mind this one too much. When someone keeps saying "we" when discussing their favorite sports team.
And see, it was funny is I had a discussion with one of my friends about this the other day, and we both agreed that, like, for me, I'm a season ticket holder for the Bengals. Like, I pay money to do that. I feel like because of that, you get the opportunity to say we.
So
you're a
that's what it
season
takes.
ticket holder for UK.
Yeah.
But even then, if you pay money, if you buy a hat, if you are helping support the team as a whole. And who cares? Now, what I do find interesting is that there is a play-by-play guy for college in the area here who says we when talking about the team, and that I'm not okay with.
Okay. Yeah, so you think there's like an ethical line on there
You see,
as it pertains to
like
sports?
on Friday nights, I will not say we. Kaler
Grayson County.
can say we
Mm-hmm.
because he played. I didn't play for Grayson County.
All right. When you see someone eating pizza with a fork, listen, that's not on me. I'm telling you, I don't prefer to eat pizza with a fork. But if your crust is so thin and flimsy that all the toppings make it curl over and dump off of the,
And I like it like that.
that's
better.
on you, and I'll have to eat it with a fork. So I'm just telling you, I'll do it if I have to.
Would you compromise with a mallet only performance of Devil Went Down to Georgia? Because I got that here.
At this point in time, I probably would take about anything. How about people who ask, "Can I ask you a question?"
Well, you just did.
Well, that's right. We're
does
beyond that apparently. Okay. When the text bubbles pop up, then go away, then come back, then go away.
It drives me crazy.
I can't tell
I
though
can't.
if it's a technical shortcoming or if it's okay. Does it do that if you've like gone to another message and you respond like how does that work? Does it sense it by the keyboard? I don't know.
Like
but
if it's just open the message, I don't know. Yeah,
that's right.
I
Especially
wonder,
if I've
yes.
asked you a question
Right.
and then
Are you
it's
contemplating?
like okay, that really was a one-word answer, but it's taken 12 seconds of ... So that one is irritating. But when you order Diet Coke at a drive-thru, but don't realize they gave you regular Coke until you've pulled away,
No, it's the opposite.
is one of the
That
things.
is-
Either way,
Either way.
either way, when it's too late
Yeah.
and it's not worth going back, you go. "Oh."
Especially when it's the line. Like, you don't want to wait in the line again.
That's right. People who push both elevator buttons to speed things up, and people who don't use their turn signals.
Yeah, there you go. That one's mine. We were in the hotel we stayed at a couple of weeks ago. They demanded that you press both buttons
to get to the parking structure or to get to the street level. Yeah,
and it was a weird a weird elevator situation in that hotel.
Yeah, well,
I concur.
Yeah, I mean it worked. It just it was a little weird.
Been very agreeable with you today, Sam.
it was a
There we
big.
go.
It was a big hotel for a nominal number of elevators.
Correct.
Their elevator structure was not well thought out.
Luckily, I was on a lower floor, so I could just take the stairs.
That's good. On TV tonight, Buddy Games is on CBS. The Golden Bachelor is on ABC. Hopefully, none of them fall asleep again this time. And on NBC, Transplant. Yeah, in the first episode, one of the old ladies fell asleep, and she didn't get a rose. She slept through the rose ceremony, and she woke up and she said, "Well, can I have this couch?" I'm here for the couch. Today's highlight in history, this date in 1976, it was announced that in China, that Hua Guofeng had been named to succeed the late Mao Zedong as chairman of the CCP. All right, thank you. Birthdays today. Sam Moore, formerly of Sam and Dave, is 88. Chris Wallace is 76. Chris Bodie is 61. Hugh Jackman is 55. Marty McGuire from the Dixie Chicks is 54. Kirk Cameron is 53.
Wow.
Mike Seaver is 53 today. Bodie Miller is 46. And Josh Hutcherson, one of the two famous Kentucky Joshes, is 31 today. We got Josh Hopkins. We got Josh
Hutcherson and I are from the same town.
Union.
Oh, yeah. He went to our rival high school. He went to Ryle. But
he did.
Did
he get
I got to
riled
meet him
up a
multiple
lot?
times.
You did?
And his little brother and I don't know him well, but
What would I know him in other than the Hunger Games? Which I've
Games.
not seen. Just the Hunger Games?
I mean, he was in Journey to the Center of the Earth. He's been in a couple of things, but he's best known for the Hunger Games, which, ironically enough, the two leads are both Kentuckians.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, gone but not forgotten, Luciano Pavarotti. Pavarotti was born in 1935. Don't have time for chart toppers today, but they included A Fifth of Beethoven by Walter Murphy, Saving All My Love for You, Whitney Houston, All I Want to Do, Sheryl Crow, Here Without You, Three Doors Down, Gangnam Style in 2012, Gangnam Style, and My Universe, Coldplay, and BTS #1, 2021.
Gangnam Style, I heard, is a pep band song. That'd be a pretty solid one, too.
This is if you go through now. Oh, I'm sorry.
Matt Jones.
I forgot he was doing that. All right, MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, if you're having a bad day, remember that you have managed to get through every bad day you've had. You'll make it through this one, too. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do, too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's